as when I talk about how racist people can be, I also have to look at the other side too, though, because there's so many really nice people who are of another hue, another color. I I was driving in Chicago, come from O'Hare last week, and all the traffic was merging together, and people were being very aggressive about getting their cars in. And it came down to me and this white guy. And I turned and looked at him, and we just sort of gave each other a look. And he just said, "Man, go ahead." And I went, "Man, you go ahead." He went, "Man, you go ahead." So I finally went ahead, but we both went ahead with a smile on our face.
Yeah.
And I just got on this bus just now, coming from the airport here we're Houston, and I got on the bus that takes you over to the rentals. And a whole lot of folks are looking the other way, this brother coming on. I got my luggage and stuff. And there was one seat, and there was like a 50-year-old white woman sitting there. And she said, "Come sit next to me. I love your swag." First of all, I was blown away that she even knew what the swag was. And she's like, "No, I love your swag." And this wasn't some hip, fly, Michelle Obama-esque type older woman. This looked like somebody's auntie. As Auntie Shirley or somebody. But she brought love. So love is in all of us. Choosing to use it is our choice. Now, the problem with this country is the so-called leader of it is a cheerleader for racism. So he has made racists feel bolder about being racist. I mean, they used to be polite enough to keep it to themselves. But now white folks just want to call a nigga every chance they get. And I'm watching these Karens get knocked the out every day. 3, 4, 5, 6. It used to be every now and then this would happen, but every day. And white guys just want to say it because they really think, and white men walk up to you and say that he's showing allegiance to this group that he's following, to this cult that he's following. But the truth is, it only emphasizes their ignorance. You don't see black people walking around and white people, hunky, hey, hunky. We ain't doing that. You ain't never seen black people going around trying to hurt white folks just because they white. Never in our history have we done. Okay, the Mau Maus, that's 1955 in Africa. They got tired of white folks, pushed them around Africa, and they rose up as a tribe and wiped a whole bunch of folks out. But it's rare that we actually turn on our abuser and take them out, So
our white abusers.
Our white abusers and take them out. So we rarely do that. Because that's not who we are as a people.
As you was saying that, I was just thinking that these MAGA type white folks who are really got hate in their hearts for black people, they should really thank the white people who are not racist, the white people who are good-hearted, decent white people, white society, decent white society. They should really think, but they don't. They look at decent white society as being weak. But they should thank decent white society because it is decent white society that have really saved their asses. They don't think that way because they so arrogant that they think that nothing can stop them, that they think that they're unstoppable. And it trips me out because they conveniently forget that when there was a civil war, they lost. The last civil war we had, they lost. And if something happened again of that magnitude, they're gonna lose again because it ain't that many people who think like them. It's more people who don't think like them.
Right, but they're just louder
than that do think like them. Well, they're louder, and it's the fact that wickedness run the world. Like the most wicked people are at the top of every industry, and that is because wicked people would do anything to win. Wicked people would go to any measure to win, whereas people who have some decency, some integrity, godly people, they're not willing to lie, steal, kill, destroy, and
step on other people just
they're
so
not,
they can have a
they're
little
not
more.
willing to wipe people out, annihilate people. They're not willing to do that. But the wicked is. This is why wicked oftentimes stays in, and that's why when good people start rising to the top, even if you look at in education, how many times have we seen a good teacher have a good program and wanted to add something to the curriculum, and she went to the principal and they said no, and it's something the students wanted, And it's something that could engage the students, right? Enlighten the students. But
Right.
the principal or the superintendent said no. Because they really, a lot of them really ain't for the kids. They're there to get a check and to control the kids. You know, they're there to control the kids, to control the staff, to control faculty, and get their paper and, you know, wave the wand. That's what they're there for.
You know, what we need is love. I mean, John Lennon said it best. What we need is love, right? You know, love. You know, thank God there's way more good people than there are bad. Or else the society would have been dead by now. The planet would be over. You know, there's way more good people. And the only problem with white people is white people have been put in a position to have to take a side. They got to take a side. Do they side with right or do they side with racial ignorance? With just because the thing that Trump does don't have nothing to do with helping or healing or pulling together. It only has to do with the divisiveness, destruction, and how can he get his personal gain on, and how can he personally label himself everywhere. I mean, you can say whatever you want about him, but there's never been a better brand master than Trump. Trump's name is on everything. Everything. He'll put it on buildings. He'll put it in the water. You should check your buttocks when you get home. He probably put a tramp stamp on your Trump. You know, it's everywhere because it's the whole thing is about him. The entire universe revolves around Trump in his eyes. And the flunkies who are under him, they see that he's getting his money and they just want their money and they don't want to get beat up by him, and so they go for it. But there's so many good people. That's why I'm so thrilled that I went to the Barack Obama Presidential Library opening this weekend. Woo woo! And what impressed me most was his audience. The audience he pulls as opposed to the audience that Food Trump pulls. You know, and it's funny when I go places. I'm somewhere every weekend in concert. The people who run the place always come to me and say, "Man, we really appreciate the folks that you attract. You know, your crowd don't argue, they tip, they come in dressed nice." You know, well, I want to say that about Barack Obama and Michelle Obama. The most impressive thing was the audience that came. They were black, half white. It was really the face of America.
Yeah.
Everybody was represented there, and they looked good. They were good. I mean,
Good
first
image.
of all, you look good when you're smiling and you're happy anyway. If you go to a Trump rally, they're mostly frowning and mad. The only time they laugh is when he says some ignorant joke that has nothing to
Corny
do
as
with
hell.
anything.
I do that
It's corny. It's
corny
and
dance he do.
yeah, so they just kissing
Oh,
up to him with
goofy
that
ass
laughter.
dance.
But you don't see them laughing because of rapturous joy. That ain't happening. When you walk into the Barack crowd, everybody is smiling. Everybody is joyful. Everybody is speaking to everybody, hanging out like we family, like this world was meant to be. Everybody to share this planet. And you feel that. When I went, I felt like they just looked so good. People were dressed, not dressed up like they was going to church, but dressed up like they was going to a Sunday social. Or, you know, like they was going to the beach for beautiful gowns, outfits, nice slacks. I mean, just everybody looked good. And it wasn't like we came to dress up because it's Barack, but we came to dress up because it's Barack.